Are we talking about rape again? I guess we are. I know a lot of people are sick of this topic. Coughlin666 kind of gave voice to the people who are sick of this topic with his video asking the question, are we really this bored that we're going to talk about this? I don't know. Personally, I'm not that bored. I don't have to be bored to talk about this. I think it's interesting. If other people don't think it's interesting, then they should not pay attention to it. Seems rather easy to me. The thing I really want to talk about is evolution and morality. And I actually want to go kind of against Conference Report on this one. I guess this is kind of a response to him more than anyone. I know he's in some sort of brouhaha with Gary in Mendham, do not God, more like do not care. I don't know why anyone would waste their time talking to Gary, but Conference Report basically, I guess, has said what boils down to there is no evolutionary basis for rape, and something about you know, we make our own morality, or something to that effect. And I have not watched a video Conference Report, and it's probably ignorant for me to respond to a video I haven't seen, but I'm not really responding to you. It's just easy to use you as a springboard. There is no evolutionary basis for rape. I find that just weird, because I look at so many of our great ape cousins, the chimps and the bonobos and the orangutans, especially the orangutans. I know I pronounced that weird. Don't bother telling me. There's basically two forms of the male orangutan. You have one that is like this big brute that barely looks like the same species as the female orangutan. It's just this big lumbering fucking beast, and it lets out the mating call, and you know, it proves its dominance, it controls its territory, and the females come along, and you know, they let him fuck the shit out of them. But then there's this other variation of the male orangutan that is basically has the build of a female and has the shriller, more high-pitched voice of a female. They're just sissy boys, basically. But they're not sissy boys in that the way that they attract mates is, well, they don't attract mates. They just, you know, basically rape. They propagate themselves solely through rape. You know, it's all about ambushing the females, having sex with them as quickly as possible, and running away. And that's how they propagate. That's how they continue their genetic legacy. It's all done through rape, 100%. Now, is that to say, I'm not making an argument, by the way, that, oh, look, they're so closely related to us, and they rely on rape, therefore rape is part of human evolution. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's obvious to me that, at least in some cases, at least with some species, rape is an evolved trait. And I would speculate that it is with human beings as well, although not to anywhere near that extent. But it just seems silly to me to say that any behavior as widespread as that doesn't have some sort of evolutionary basis. What role does evolution play in morality? I think that to say that we make morality is making a mistake right off the bat. I don't think we make morality. I don't think there's ever been any point in history where someone has sat down and committed something to paper and said, this is a new moral code, and then, you know, showed it to people and convinced them intellectually that this moral is a good idea, and then everyone signs off and says, okay, this is now officially a moral. We've decided, intellectually. this is a cognitive decision. I don't think that happens. When in the Bible they pass, well, not a law, but when they say basically, if you strike your father, then you should be put to death, or you should have your hand removed, or whatever, then that's something that comes from the authority figure, in this case the parent, realizing that, my children are a threat to me. They are a threat to my fortune, to my land, to all the things that I possess, to all the things that I own. They can pose a threat to my power. And so they pass that rule, like, don't defy me. If you defy me, you will be punished harshly. And that's a moral, respect your parents. But, it's the same thing with pretty much every moral you can think of. Every moral out there that we have or have had at any point in our history has been, and will be designed to either preserve power or to preserve the status quo. People say, oh, rape is about power. Yeah, of course it's about power on some level. Everything is about power on some level. When someone takes your life, they're taking away your power to live. They are giving themselves the power of death over life. When someone takes your goods, they're basically subtracting from your monetary wealth and, by proxy, your power, and they're adding on to their own monetary wealth and by proxy their own power. So a lot of what we have, a lot of these things that we think of as morals, they're really just a way of balancing things out, a way of making sure that people who have power get to keep it, and people who don't have power can't attain it. So morality basically is this complex system of not really laws, but sometimes laws, but also sometimes just guidelines for behavior. It's an emergent thing. It's not something that is decided upon intellectually. It's something that arises out of the desire of power to remain powerful, or the desire of those who run the system to keep the system running in much the same fashion that it's already running, which is why you see such opposition to new ideas, and why people like Galileo were called heretics.